talk about hormone-altering drugs like finasteride and now Ozempic, we are merely putting together pieces of a fragile jigsaw puzzle. And today we are discussing Ozempic, the miracle blockbuster drug for weight loss and its effect on hair loss. And as you know, my channel deals with hair loss treatment for men and women, hair transplant, and everything that concerns the hair. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It keeps the channel going. So today, Ozempic is the worst kept secret from Hollywood and now Bollywood as well. Exceedingly popular in patients who can afford the drug today, though hard to obtain, a lot of patients that I know have been taking this drug since the past few months. And an increasing number of queries on my channel about hair loss, severe shedding following Ozempic for weight loss. Almost 9 million Americans today are taking Ozempic for weight loss. And this is a very small number. The number is rising because 42% of Americans today are obese. And that is a very large number. It's an epidemic of obesity we are going through. The rise of Ozempic, the GLP-1 modifying drug that increases insulin secretion by the pancreas to treat diabetes, was not something that we predicted. The rise to superstardom of a GLP-1 modifying drug, a drug that increases the secretion of insulin from the pancreas and was initially used to treat diabetes, was not something that anybody predicted. The drug's side effect of rapid weight loss was soon to steal the headlines. And it became so popular, the drug is traded in the black market. It's not freely available. A very hot commodity, more for its off-label use in weight loss than for what it was originally thought to treat, that is diabetes mellitus. So hot that it started causing problems for the patients it was originally meant to treat. And several problems, if you search the internet, you'll be flooded with the problems that you can get with Ozempic. And it reminds me of the problems with finasteride, some true and mostly false. Problems happen because drugs are not considered as tools. People who think them to be silver bullets are more usually than not disappointed. So before we discuss the relationship between Ozempic or semaglutide and hair loss, let us see how Ozempic works. Ozempic as a drug is meant to be injected once a week into the belly fat, the thigh or the arm. The active compound semaglutide lowers blood sugar levels by increasing the secretion of insulin by the pancreas. And this regulation is essential for patients being treated for type 2 diabetes mellitus. The drug also inhibits GLP-1, a gut hormone, glucagon-like peptide 1. GLP-1 is produced naturally in our intestines, and secretion of this hormone causes a sense of satiety or fullness by slowing down the gastric emptying time or the stomach emptying time. And as a consequence of this, food that heretofore was very exciting loses its charm. We stopped talking about food. Thoughts about food decreased or almost vanished after starting the drug. With its increasing popularity, the problem is that people have started thinking of it more as a vanity drug, something like Botox, and not as a crucial medication, a great discovery for treating diabetes mellitus. And every drug that becomes so popular soon becomes the butt of suspicion. Well, that is how human nature is. This happened with finasteride, and this is now happening with Ozempic. People increasingly talk about the Ozempic face, Ozempic gut paralysis, and now Ozempic alopecia, hair loss induced by Ozempic. When we look past the hype of Ozempic, like many drugs, can also be harmful. Any drug not taken with due diligence, not taken on prescription, is bound to give you side effects. Because any hormone-altering drug can also be dangerous. The focus on weight today, as opposed to health, is a feature of our current diet culture. In present-day society, the pursuit of thinness is perceived to be more important than physical or cultural well-being. And this is not the first time that we are hearing that weight loss drugs are going to change the world. There have been so many weight loss drugs in the past. They came and disappeared like a flash in the pan. Each looked promising at the time of the release, but failed to sustain the initial hype in the long term. Some were even withdrawn by FDA due to their dubious nature, the dubious effects that they caused in the body. And this is the same as many hot drugs that we have for treating androgenic alopecia. So coming to hair loss, the effect of Ozempic on your hair loss, the massive shedding that some people see after starting Ozempic. Yes, it is true that after starting Ozempic, the majority of them do experience various grades of shedding in the initial few months. But is this wholly and solely due to Ozempic? Hair loss is innate to the metabolic processes going on in the body, consequent to massive weight loss. Blaming it entirely on the drug Ozempic is very, very unfair. Even if you otherwise massively lose weight and you're not taking Ozempic, you will still have massive hair shedding, which we have seen in the past years. Massive shedding because of going on to certain diets like keto diets is a reality. But the good news is that the hair loss we see due to Ozempic is reversible. And understanding while on Ozempic of what is going on in the body, the milieu interior of the body, when you lose weight, helps us by reining in the damage to the hair and supporting regrowth of hair after starting Ozempic. For hair follicles are the most metabolically active parts of the human body. The linkage between weight loss and hair loss, as I said before, is quite complex. It's a fragile jigsaw puzzle, difficult to put together. When you start Ozempic, just like you start finasteride for hair loss, the body enters an adjustment period. And this is normal for all hormone-altering drugs. The pancreas starts to produce more insulin. More insulin disrupts the hair growth cycle. And see this video, it will give you more information. And this insulin-related disruption of the hair growth cycle causes a cascade of hair shedding. This is expected. The hair follicles enter into a survival mode. They go into a phase of dormancy prematurely. But as the body adapts to the changing hormonal milieu, the hair start to regrow. People on Ozempic therefore do not experience usually permanent hair loss. But now the bad news. People who have an underlying androgenic alopecia, a history of baldness, when they start Ozempic without the umbrella of finasteride, the shedding they trigger in their androgenic alopecia, it might hasten the appearance of the baldness. And this hair, when lost, may not be retrievable. They may, after starting Ozempic, people with androgenic alopecia, go on to permanent baldness. And hence, when you have androgenic alopecia, you have a strong family history of baldness. You have to take certain proactive measures before you go on to the drug Ozempic. That is, you have to necessarily, if you do not want massive permanent shedding, you will have to consider starting oral DHT blockers in consultation with your doctor. Just like finasteride, Ozempic starts to change the hormonal milieu, the hormonal environment of the body in 6 weeks' time. And this is the trigger for shedding, which can be massive in those with androgenic alopecia. Besides this, the other trigger for hair loss when you start Ozempic is the marked vasoconstriction of the blood vessels of the scalp that it causes. Decreases the nutritional supply to the hair, which is another reason why we experience shedding. To combat this vasoconstriction, regular exercise, limiting the intake of alcohol, adequate sodium intake, keeping your body well hydrated will go a long way in minimizing hair loss due to Ozempic. The third reason ascribed to Ozempic alopecia is nutritional deficiency as a consequence to weight loss. Patients don't want to eat, so they neglect their diet. Essential nutrients do not reach the body, leading to hair loss, which can be massive because of this. Reduced appetite, nausea and vomiting is the etiopathogenesis of nutritional deficiency leading to hair loss after patients start Ozempic for weight loss. Mostly this is due to deficiency of protein, zinc, biotin or iron. So stay focused, eat a balanced diet, remain stress-free, consume an excess of lean meats, leafy greens, nuts and seeds. So after all this talk, the initial talk on Ozempic, this talk begs an important question. Is the hair loss due to Ozempic reversible? So when you start Ozempic, it's very important to note that you're only experiencing telogen effluvium. That is, the hair is going into dormancy phase. And you're not undergoing the triggering of androgenic alopecia because there's a difference between these two forms of shedding after starting Ozempic. One is reversible, the other very rarely is. So what is telogen effluvium? Telogen effluvium is excessive shedding of hair entering the resting phase prematurely as a consequence of some metabolic change in the body, which can be because of stress, medication, illness, or many other reasons which we have described in previous videos. This telogen effluvium can send almost about 15 to 35% of hair or even more into the resting phase. significantly decreasing the amount of hair on the scalp, causing thinning, causing skin show, causing appearance of baldness. Normally we use about 100 hair a day, but with telogen effluvium, it can go up to 300 to 500 hair that we lose every 24 hours. So what are the precautions that we can take in our day-to-day activity to avoid significant hair loss after starting Ozempic? Number one, give your hair a break. Chemicals used in salons can cause damage to the hair follicles. Take a break from mechanical perming of hair, coloring of hair, and using high pH shampoos. The daily stress to the hair of hair styling can significantly increase the shedding. Avoid heat styling and tight hairstyles. Work on lowering your stress. Stress is a very well-known trigger for telogen effluvium. And lastly, review your diet. While there is no proof that vitamins can help in regrowing hair, a nutritious diet definitely boosts hair growth. So the bottom line is that there is no evidence that by itself Ozempic causes hair loss. Hair loss ascribed to Ozempic and other drugs which are GLP-1 modifying drugs like Wegovy, Mounjaro or Zepbound occurs due to telogen effluvium, which is not a direct effect of the medicine that you're taking. This occurs due to disruption of the normal hair growth cycle. So be patient in this initial transition period. Focus on your nutrition, enhancing the circulation of blood in your scalp, and the hair loss that you're experiencing will stabilize over time. In those with androgenic alopecia, oral finasteride, needless to say, should be started 3 months before starting Ozempic. Because if you do not do that, though you may lose weight with Ozempic, which might be short-lived, but the hair that you lose because of Ozempic or weight loss, massive weight loss, when you're not on oral finasteride, may be irretrievable. You may head towards androgenic alopecia prematurely. So I end with that word of caution. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions about hair loss related to Ozempic, or any question about hair loss treatment for men and women, or about hair transplant, do get in touch. Leave a comment in the comment section below and I'll reply back to you. If you want a personal consultation, about your peculiar hair loss or the treatment that is best to you, unless you are being treated by another doctor, do get in touch with me at the number above on WhatsApp and we'll carry this forward. Have a nice day and God bless you.